What up, beautiful people? Thank you for joining us on the fourth episode of Conversations with Us. We've just been at it hard. If you've been listening, been following, shout out to you, man. We have Mr. Letuka Dlamini here, actor, IT guy, biology student.
Wow.
Yeah, man, like big bro, this one of the homies that was like the first gig I ever did in Joburg, bro. This man came to salute a homie, and bro, I must say, even that, like, you've had a couple of moments like in my life, dog, where you actually just was like, dog, carry on going.
Oh, bro, you have to, man. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You were born for the stuff, and I don't say stuff like that cheaply.
I know, bro, because it was different, bro. It wasn't a thing of Wutibetu, we were complete strangers, literally, dog, So when you came through and said that, dog, like for me, every time when somebody says something like that to me, it just makes me push harder. Just do better, dog. Try to do better,
Did they ever tell you what happened with you and Kotoma? In the background?
Nah.
So when we were putting together the cars...
Let me pause this shit.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Let me pause this. I'm gonna play it now. We're back from the exclusive conversation.
Yeah. And so when he started, he came through 2008, and that's when he was serious. I wasn't around. I wasn't in the country, but we talked. And then I came back 2009, middle of, and then he was doing his thing, and TOSAC came through, and he was like, let's go to the audition. I'm like, hey, Fatek, I'm not finna wait for 2 days. Besides, bro, like, it's cool, go for it. And he went and he got hit a leg. And since he's been saying, bro, make friends, just show up, just be in the space.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, do what we do, the drugs. No, just be there.
Be in the space.
Just be in the space. That's all. Just be in the space. That is all. And to this day, I have not gotten a single job with my own hands. No. It's just because somebody saw something you did once and said, yo, who's that dude? Give me his number. Call. Even if you get asked to audition, they're asking for you to go back. Say, we heard 1, 2, 3, I got your number from, can you please pull up for an audition? Let's just see what's up. And that just comes from being in the space.
Being in the space.
That's all. Just show up.
And for me, that's been the weird part of it. The being in the space. What she's saying to me right now is actually just like bars, and it's exploding my mind because that's what's been a struggle for me, like being in the space, because like, okay, fine, I go there, right? I think I did it in Cape Town, being in the space, and I saw the benefits. That's why I feel like I noted and I realized, Wuti, there's been times when I've been playing myself, because I follow all these theater places and I'm not in the space, for a lousy 200 grand, my nigga, and I realized, and it came to me today, because I've been following this play Ruined. I've watched it once before, so I want to see it again. But I'm thinking about, I'm like, cause I also feel some type of way about the theater game, in the different spaces that I've been to. I know the clinginess, I've seen the clinginess, I've seen the clicks. I'm like, God damn, like, this energy, like, really, like, do I have to really exhibit this energy? So, but then also again, it's literally about being in the space, and your energy is gonna match somebody else's energy, and then when it does, you never know what can happen.
Bro, like, we tried to create a formula for this thing, but there's so many different machinations at work at the same time that you need to be aware of constantly. There is no formula. Like, your story is different to mine and to the next person, but there are certain principles that are consistent in everyone. And being in the space is one of them. I think one of the benefits for me is, particularly spaces I don't like. I used to do poetry once upon a time, and so I thought, let's deal with these poets and see what's up in this country, see what's going on. And I found pure cliquiness and snobbery. You must have read 96,000 books. You know what I mean? You must be, I don't know, like, you have to be this crazy intellectual or whatever, and you have to vibe with us, burn incense, and all of these funny things, bro. And I'm like, bro, I just want to rhyme words.
Becomes a cult.
Yeah, And so I was like, that's interesting, but I wouldn't have known if I didn't go there. And I also wouldn't have made connections with certain people in that space for whenever we need each other. Do you know what I mean? And that comes from, we might not necessarily understand each other, but we appreciate each other's thinking. Being in the space also, bro, comes with knowing how to read the room. That's a valuable asset to have as a human being, not just as an entertainer or just as to be able to walk in a room and read the situation and people. Invaluable. You have to understand people. You have to know, Lorna, this is what makes this one tick. This is what, this person is looking for. This person is like, it's key. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't mean you change who you are. It just means you protect yourself in a space where it's dog eat dog. And you know what I mean? You learn who to trust. You see who is open to certain things. You know what I mean? It's just being in the environment as well. And then the third and most important thing, outside of mental health, even more so than just being in the space, bro, I walked into this thinking, I'm gonna act. There's no such thing in this country.
In this country?
In this country. For me, if somebody says, I'm an actor and it's my career, you're a liar. You are lying.
God damn.
How are you feeding your kids?
God damn.
There's only 6, 7, 8 of us who get long ass contracts where you're shooting for years and years on soapies. How many other actors are out there who get one paying job every 6 months, every year? Maybe you land an ad this year. That's not a career in the true sense of the word. There's no stability in that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you can build a profile, and I'm not saying you can't act. Sure, but even your favorite actors are not necessarily eating off of acting money. It's everything around it. It's the endorsements. I mean, it's the speaking engagements that come with being a familiar face, the MCing, the what.
The whole package deal that comes with what you've built as a brand.
That's how people are eating. Very few are steady just eating off of acting exclusively. And so we have to be people who look at the game holistically. You know what I mean?
And there's nothing wrong with because I'm like with what you're talking about, I feel when we talk about there's levels to the shit. There's different levels. Even thinking wise.
Yes.
Because you come in, you want to be an actor, right? And you book the job, and then the job finishes, and you're like, damn, being on TV is not enough. That's when it comes in, when you realize, okay, shit, as much as I'm on TV, how can I use this being on TV to elevate something else that's going to bring in money?
A means to an end.
Because yes, I mean, Doug, for example, Robbie Downey Jr. The first Iron Man, $750,000, right? I don't know how life is in America, right? Fine. We say that's a big gig, right? Even if you say 750,000 rand, that's a big gig.
It's money.
Come on now. All right, cool. And then the last what's this Endgame, $75 million, right? 75 million rands, which is still a big jump, you know. But when you find out why it's 75 million rand, you learn what he came through with a lot of these ideas for the multiverse. So he started playing behind the scenes and not just as an actor. Tom Cruise with Mission Impossible, he was cast in the first one. They dropped it, he picked it up as an executive producer now. Now it's not just acting, but he's using the success of him being Tom Cruise from Mission Impossible and everything else before, you know. Oh, it's okay, let me ride this now because I have a vision. Yes. I'm more of a visionary now. You know, you become an actor, you know, and then you level up, you know. Jay-Z, I'm not a businessman, I'm a business.
See, that's the thinking that for me is required. And again, it's one of those things Tabu's been trying to drill in my head. It's, bro, like, I'm not an actor, I'm a storyteller. Why? That means I have to figure out what story is top to bottom. I have to know what writing is. I might not be a master writer, but I have to understand what goes into writing. I might not get all the camera terms on set, stop down, gwinyu, right? But I know enough about cam to position myself well for a scene if I'm acting, right? And also learning through it all. What is that guy doing? Why do we need 6 cams? Like, you know what I mean? All of these things. I didn't even know what a focus was. I didn't go to school for this stuff. I didn't get a chance to go to school for this stuff. And so I learned a lot of the stuff on the job. Which is
which I can say, you know, as a person who went to school, dog, on the job experience, bro. That's the best experience, my nigga.
It was the first time I said, oh, that's a focus puller. What exactly does my dude do here? You know? And so all of these things, you learn. And then you also start to discover that there are other things you might be good at behind the scenes that add to who you are. And then that goes back to, like we said, what we were speaking about earlier. Walking into an audition feels very different. If you've ever directed something before, you sort of get a sense of what it's like on the other side. And so you stop taking no's personally.
Yeah, you do.
Number one.
You do. You do.
You know? Because you understand, this is just a human being who's just trying to make this thing work as best as they can. They're looking for a fit. And they have to deal with politics over who they can and cannot use too. You start to understand, okay, cool. The audition side says, you know, he's sitting, he's whatever. But if it's a self-tape, bro, it's my house. I'm creating the scene. And I'm going to give it to you the way I see it.
Can I on that point? Bro, I once did an audition like that where it was a self-tape. And the scene was in a car. So we did it in the car. And then the note that came back from the casting director was like, no, bro, can you please do the self-tape like this? And he showed me a guy against a blank wall.
Yeah, I've had that before. And I always understand where those people are coming from, okay? Sitting in the car does give you an advantage over the others. Do you understand?
Some others will have more followers than me, though. Isn't that an advantage?
That's what I'm getting at, is that everybody has the advantage, right? And so sitting in the car does give you an advantage over the other guys. Why that's a bad thing, I can never tell. I don't know why they would say don't do it that way if you can, so that it's closer to what is written and we can all see and agree whether or not it works. But others, it's more a uniformity thing. Oh, I just want you around the wall. Then it'll tell you, I just want to see your acting ability. Man, whether I'm in a car or against the wall,
you still see the acting ability.
You finna see the acting ability. But, you know, that's just their thing. But for me, not necessarily just the setting, the energy that you bring. I've learned to approach auditions as Letuka. You gave me a side. You want to know how I interpret this character, that's what you're gonna get. If it doesn't work for you, I see you. No, there's no war. Go for a dude that does fit what you're looking for, and that's perfectly fine. And what that has done for me, going back to how I get my jobs a lot of the time by the grace of God, you auditioned so and so once upon a time for me. You auditioned for this character. I need you to come read for this. Why? Because they've got a sense of who I am and how I interpret character. And that's the other thing I'm learning from dudes who are more established. These men, they don't care, bro, about hey, he's what? I see this on paper. It translates to me this way. Take it, leave it.
And then when does the work come in? Does it come in after you get the job?
The work in the sense of
in the sense of like, because you know, there's someone who's once said that to me too, and it made sense. And in some instances, I have applied it, but then like, when does the work come in? Because there's a cry that we have sometimes. We'll see, hey man, now we just seeing you in every character that you play. You know, we're not seeing the character now. When does the work come in? Because yes, I understand, Wuti, you'll put in the work for the audition to prepare yourself.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's my interpretation at the end of the day. When we get to the work now, when you have selected me, is it now not okay? Now the work comes in, like now I have to dig deep, like how does this person walk?
Oh, so what I understand of the different methods of acting, and I'll use actual people as examples. Samuel L. Jackson plays the same guy in every movie he's in. Bar, what was that, Django? You know? But the rest of the time, our favorite actor, the father of black acting contemporary, Denzel Washington, plays the same dude in most of his movies. Right? And then you get the other side of that. You get a Jared Leto, a Warren Masimolo, who morph. You can't even tell that, oh my, this is the same dude, right? I'm gonna say something controversial. Producers, casting directors, channel, everybody knows what type of actor you are, if they've seen it, and they're okay with that. We want that. Locally, Siloma Kekanulu, fantastic performer. You will not see that man slack off in a scene. But he's not out here playing Rambo. Or, no, he does him.
True.
And he kills. That's the thing, you will believe him every single time. Yeah. Why? Because it's about finding what works for you, what drew you to the craft. And what you enjoy in movies, because subconsciously you start to develop that method long before you even say, yeah, I'm going to act. Do you get what I mean? And so there's nothing wrong with walking in as you are, interpreting the character. That's when learning languages becomes important as well. Yeah, I might be Letuka, sure, but a Sotho Letuka and a Zulu Letuka are two completely different human beings. Do you understand what I'm saying? The facial expressions might be the same because I have one face at the end of the day, but the situations will also drive and pull out different things from Letuka that sometimes even I didn't know. Do you know? And so for me, the work on a character starts the minute I see a side and they say, please come audition, come read for us or whatever. Because why? I've already seen how this character moves, talks or whatever in my head according to me. And when we get to the audition, when you select me on set, that's what you're gonna get. Yeah, sure, no, I'm open to taking notes from directors. Okay, cool. So there was too much comedy in your audition. I need you to dumb that down. Okay, cool. Sharp.
Now we're working together. Now we're finding it. Discovering.
Now we find the middle ground between what I gave you and what you want. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that's just for me.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean, one day I won't play a left of field. I'm looking for that role actively.
Yeah.
Because you always want to test yourself.
Yeah.
And see how
far
you
you
do.
can go.
Do you know what I mean? But for the most part, I'd say I'm one of those performers who are grounded.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, listen. That's not.
I'm gonna give you me.
Like a lot of my acting is internal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the character is more real to me that way.
Yeah.
I can relate.
Yeah.
I stop acting now. It's
Because I
me
mean
and this
that is the essence of it. You know that is the essence of it. Because the reason I asked that is, I mean, I love the niggas that you have mentioned. You know, the guys who do the same thing. You know, I love them because they do that. You know. Now, you get your Johnny Depps, your Jared Leto's. You know, I resonate with them more because it's about, man, this person is created, man. It's not real. Like, this person that you're playing right now is not real. It's real in this reality of the story.
Yeah.
So, for me to play the character that you've given me, you know, the privilege of portraying, like, I feel that I need to sit there right now, homie. Let's learn this person, dog. Like let's sit and let's even have conversations, you know. How would this person make tea? You know, type of it. Like, and if I resonate with the roles like that deeply, you know, there are those roles where you're just like, okay, shit, I'm gonna put on a caricature and play him as real as possible. That's, I mean, sometimes I've learned to be able to do that, but not show it's a caricature. But like, sometimes, bro, it's such a powerful story where you're like, oh my god, no, man, especially in theater, dude, where it's like, nah, bro, like, it can't be me. It can't be my soul, my experiences there. Yes, I can use reference, but like, how does this person actually feel in this moment? So even everything will change. Yes, like you're saying, the facial expressions and all that might be the same in certain instances. You have the same face, but I've tried to achieve a discipline, Yoguti. How do I take in something, you know, study where my face tenses up and all that? Okay, cool. So if my face is up, tenses up on the left, you know, when I'm feeling like this, if the character's feeling a similar mood, let's try to move it to the right, you know, just so I can try create this distinguishment. But not going into the methods, I wanted to ask you, you know, with your approach, and that you bring really Letuka, that whatever they say on the other side, you're okay with that. How does for you, the divorce process then affect you? You know, divorcing a character you didn't get, although you have put in that work.
Oh, bro, you have to acknowledge the hurt. You have to acknowledge, oh man, I'm super bummed I didn't get that. That's messed up. It would have been dope to get that. You don't try and pretend like you're okay, because that's when it comes back now and bites you in the next audition where you've lost confidence. You start to doubt yourself. Whereas you sit and you're like, you know what? That sucks. I really wish I could get that. I'm gonna go watch anime. I'm gonna go watch One Piece. I'll watch The Boys. I'll watch Man of Steel or whatever, you know, and remember why I wanted to do this in the first place, you know? And then that will then help me to prepare for the next one, you know? It's difficult, given all I've said, to not take it personally. It's something you have to work at constantly because of the way I approach acting.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
My method of dealing with all the rejection you get as a performer generally is just acknowledging it. You can't fight how you feel in a specific moment. You acknowledge it. You're like, okay, cool, I'm super bummed about this, and you do whatever it is, that whatever your process is to calm yourself, to inspire yourself again, do that. You know, I was saying, for me, let's sort of back to that. If Letuka can't relate to this character in any capacity, I'm comfortable walking away from that role. You know, because my process for building a character is, you know, if I'm asked to play somebody with a paraplegic, it's what does a paraplegic Letuka from Somalia, do you get what I mean, look like? How does he feel like in this situation? How do you know? And that's so when you hear no after having gone through the process of putting yourself in those shoes, it's very hard, you know. And so I'm still learning. I can't say I'm perfect. There are times I come home and I'm super bummed, and you know, but thankfully, you know, playing with my kids again, you realign very fast. Oh, you're seeing your wife and you're like, oh, okay, cool. We're still on it.
back to what is actually real.
You know, you snap out of it and you just prepare for the next role, because the danger of trying to act strong when you hear a no or whatever is that you compound the disappointment, and it gets to a point where it spills over. That's when we start seeing depressed artists and one loves me.
Yeah, because now the no's from the industry have become so personal that when somebody says no in real life, I'm putting that in inverted commas, it's as if all these no's are all intertwined.
We start to conflate issues that have nothing to do with each other. You know, and so that's why I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Sucks. I mean, there's a show I would have done everything on planet Earth to be a part of that, you know, but it ended up not happening. And I was like super bummed for a week, and I'm like, but you know, I'm like, hey bro, be easy. The people behind this now know you.
Yeah.
And what was the thing that he said? I'm gonna hit you up.
Yeah.
Is that not how the rest of your career has gone? Calm yourself down.
Sometimes it's about overlooking what you didn't hear. Because you go into like an audition or a situation and you expect to hear a certain response, and you hear like a good response, but it's not what you wanted to hear, so you don't take it as a good response up until you have that time of introspection, you know. And so would you say how important is time alone then in this entertainment industry?
It's key, bro. I think one of my weaknesses, and I can happily share because it's you, I'm scared to death of being by myself a lot of the times because I don't like the thoughts that I have to deal with. But I acknowledge that I am someone's dad. It's a luxury to avoid the dark parts of yourself for a later day, or because it can pop up and hurt many people that you care about. And so I've learned to be very deliberate about being alone and facing those thoughts outside of whatever substances we sometimes hide behind, you know. Face it, and you know, if you cry, bro, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
If you know, and so I'm learning to be alone. Learn it'll help you realign, you know, and that's important to do almost daily because we go through a lot. You go through a hell of a lot of different things, you know. And so at the end of the day or whenever, you gotta find time to process the day, process your reactions, process how you spoke to people, process how you received all of those things, so that you can prepare for the next day. Again, that comes with learning how to read the room and people. Because for me, conversations exist on 3 levels. 1 is what you're saying. 2 is what you want or are trying to say. And 3 is the inference that you may or may not be aware of. Do you get? And so whenever someone talks, I try to listen on those 3 levels at the same time.
So that you don't interpret in the wrong way?
Yes. So A, I don't interpret in the wrong way. B, I don't take what they're trying to say personally. You know? And then C, I can understand what the person is saying so that there's less confusion. Because I think that's where a lot of problems start in life. Miscommunication. Somebody said A, you heard Z. And so, you know, it's about trying to understand what somebody's really saying what they may or may not be aware of what their words mean in this case, so that you can develop yourself and then learn to read people as well and understand life when you learn. Because for me, bro, it's about learning. The minute you stop learning, even on set, I've worked with actors before who have absolutely confounded me in a scene, and I'll stand there and be like, God damn, this person is this real or because wow. I'll say so. He has to take two. I panic. I acknowledge, oh snap, this is some incredible work I've done it on stage. Full stage. Theater, real time.
Where there's no take two.
Yeah, I stood there and I was like, wow.
Is this so you stopped acting, you started watching?
Yeah, bro. Like, you see, that's how I know you're working with someone powerful, somebody who pulls you out of the moment. And I just have to because first and foremost, I'm a fan. I'm not even ashamed. I work with people and I'm like, yo, I've been watching this dude since I was like, I'm gonna get a picture. No, I'm that dude. I'm not somehow, I don't have the sort of ego issues that come with trying to act strong or cool. I don't got time for that. We're learning. It's what I'm here for. You know what I mean? So I'm here to see, how does this person, because the other thing, me as an actor, I will copy now. Copy, paste now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I'll give you your credit, sure. I'm not a toti. I'm going, no. But if he did that very well, I'm stealing that.
Sometimes you hear a bar and you're like, I'm gonna use
I'm finna practice.
I'm gonna use
that. Yeah. Not me, where I go to church, my pastor told us along, me, I copy paste now. Now, sermon now. If it hit me, why must I struggle with it? Again, it's the same spirit. It's the same God. So why must now?
Yeah.
I must.
And I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong about copying and pasting. Something that really touched you. Something that really resonates with you. Oh shit, that drove the character in a different dynamic. Than what I had initially thought about, and I think that's what, because even when you copy pasting, I mean, some copy paste exactly, but I feel like when you copy pasting, you also put your thought process in it.
Yes.
You also put your influence in it. So, although it's copied, it's not.
You personalize it. Yes.
Rowan Atkinson. I mean, there was a movie that I did back in my student days where I was like, okay, John English, you're my reference character now. So, and I think you're copy pasting what you're talking about is it about reference characters?
Yeah. But also moments that other performers would do and offer. I've been blessed to be on sets where there's been pretty much a lot of leeway. The directors I've had the pleasure of working with, there are people who be like, yeah, nigga, I get really an actor prepares.
Have you prepared? Let's see what you've prepared.
Action.
That's what Tabo did.
No, that's his MO.
It literally on set, Tabo was like, okay, Sting, so what do you have? And it's Sting, come on, came through, buzzing. And I hit him with something that he wasn't prepared for. He's like, I'm gonna ask the writer. Ask the writer who he has.
Yeah.
The writer approves, do it.
Bro, that's the joy of this for me.
And it kills me when chances, because we work with a lot of chances, bro. Forex is amazing. Whatever people do to get money is amazing, right? And what they say about Joburg, there's a lot of black people with money in Joburg. It's true. There's a lot of black people with money in Joburg.
Yeah.
But what they don't tell you, And what you find out once you're in the streets is that the people with money, most of them, if they're in the industry or trying to get in the industry, they are chances. And then you work, you know, because you're this guy who has worked with the Rameses, you know. And you get to sit, and it's not even first year level. And you're like, oh my God,
What's that?
what is going on here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The equipment is out of this world. It's a black magic. 3 of them. 3! My nigga, 3 black magics.
1.5.
Jayam. LEDs. Ronin. Sliders. What?
You can't not make the best.
My nigga, you can't not, bruh. I mean, you're my reason. 1 camera.
And it's still 1 award.
Jayam.
Bro, it's taking your chances and again, not being afraid of showing how I understand this. Because I think, again, I still hear no's. This isn't some sage wisdom.
You know,
No,
you're
no's
still,
gonna come. But with every no, it's becoming less difficult. Do you understand? Because I'm learning that there are way too many different dynamics at play. You know, all you can offer is yourself.
Yeah.
The trick is this now. When you are yourself, there's a very, very high possibility that even though you won't get the job, you'll stay in memory. You stay, and that's where you want to be. It's chess, not checkers. It's a long game. You want to be in memory, not on screen. On screen is good.
On screen is good.
For a time. But you want to be in memory.
Yeah.
Because when you're in memory, there's no one who can fight you.
Yeah.
Bro, I've gotten to a point where I can walk into an audition room and with one glance tell you who the likely contenders for this role are. Just by spending 5 minutes seeing around the room, you can quickly pick up, oh, okay, cool. This role is probably going to go with that guy. And a lot of the time I'll be right. Not because it's sage wisdom, no. It's just because that person came with the utmost confidence in who they are. This is me, deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like it, don't like it.
It is what it is.
It is. I'll see you on the flip side.
Yeah.
And we move on. That's the difference that I think we are not learning, or let me fix myself, that we refuse to accept. I say this because, yeah, the different personalities, celebs and whatever will say it differently. And we'll think, it's a cliche, but bro, do you. When you do you, you're saving the casting director a lot of work. I have to try and figure out how I'm gonna place this guy. How do we approach him? No, bro, like, do you, and leave the choice up to them. There's a trust element as well. Leave it up to them and move on with life.
Yeah.
Man.
Have you found that discipline and that wisdom has come with also being able to do your own work and produce your own work?
100%. You start to. It comes with understanding self and being comfortable in self, flaws and all, because that enables you to succeed not just in your own projects in the art industry, but in real life, outside of work, outside of whatever. You create a bubble where your circle is clear to you, because they understand you, they know what upsets you, they know what you like, they know all of that stuff. They don't have to try and act and whatever, because that's where gaps for betrayal come in now. You know what I mean? Where we're not open and honest with each other about who we are. And so it definitely does help me in my own works, because I learn this is the sort of stuff I'm into, this is the sort of stuff I want to do. And so I'm going to produce what I want to do, what works with me. A great example of that is Jordan Peele. You know what I mean? he does his movies his way. Locally, somebody who
Oh my god.
there might be controversies here and there, but for the most part, like Mandla does stuff that he wants to do. Mandla N and Mandla Dube do stuff they want to do. And it's going to work because this is my stuff. I know what I'm talking about here. These are my strengths. Yeah, I'm not preaching to all of Mzansi, but I'm comfortable in my corner with my 3 people and my whatevers. We speak the same language, we vibe. And if channel picks up on that, hooray. If not, I have 76 other scripts, treatments, whatever sitting. Do you choose? And so there's power, there's a certain freedom that you get from understanding yourself and doing things again, when I say this, it's easy to misinterpret it as saying, no, you mustn't listen to take, no. One of the things I pride myself on is taking notes and being open to correction and why, like, it's all part of the learning.
A professor says that being able, use criticism here, but being able as an actor to be able to take critique is one of the most important elements
Yes.
to possess as an actor.
Yes.
Otherwise, if you're not criticized, then you will never achieve what you can really achieve.
Exactly, bro. I mean, for one, if Robert De Niro still takes acting lessons,
Dude,
to this day, who am I to be arrogant enough to think, I own jail? Are you out of your mind?
yeah.
Again, everything is a learning process, and so you do take notes. It's just apply those notes to your world. That's the difference. I'm applying these notes to
Your world.
to my world,
Yeah.
and then we move forward.
Damn. That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. Those are bars. I told you this homie's a bar energy nigga. You have done some quite amazing things on social media platforms. I'm talking about the official SA charts. I'm talking about, what was that lockdown series you guys did?
Lockdown Heights. So that's
Lockdown Heights.
yeah.
Those are, for me, the 2 biggest ones that come to my mind and that I have witnessed. We are, even as a country and also as the world, slowly moving into the 4th Industrial Revolution. I say moving into because, my brother said we're not necessarily in the 4th Industrial Revolution right now because the 4th Industrial Revolution is everything is machines.
Yeah.
Right now, some things are machines. So we are moving into the 4th Industrial Revolution. What I've noticed with you is that you have caught the wave, if we were speaking in surfing or bodyboarding terms, you've caught the wave. And perhaps the wave that you've caught is not the big wave that we all want to catch, but it's still starting out. What has been the biggest lesson that you've learned about Letuka being in the industry, the entertainment industry, and using the industrial revolution that we're moving into, or rather not using it, but like, how have you allowed yourself to prepare yourself for the shift in the industrial revolution that we're going into? Lockdown Heights was flipping amazing. Especially, one thing that you hit dead nail on the head was also having familiar faces on it, which in South Africa is something, if you've not mastered it yet, like it can't wake up, you know, because familiar faces in South Africa, especially, sell, you know, get views and all of that. So you mastered that. But then also what you mastered with Knockdown Heights is consistency. You know? I mean, I watched that, and there was so many things I was learning just by seeing how you guys were pushing. And then now I look with the official SA chart, you know, I don't know what your role is behind the scenes of it, you know, but I see what is it pronounced, Beastrand,
yeah.
Beastrand,
Yeah.
you know, Beastrand, and I see the consistency of the show itself, you know. One thing I've always credited Americans for when I caught onto the YouTube wave and seeing how I'm sleeping on it, you know, and how I'm picking up slowly, it's like, damn, these boys work, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's just about trying to create the most interesting content ever, you know, no matter how, like, simple it may be.
Yeah.
You know, in branding, they'll tell you simplicity is best, which is also what I find is sort of true with social media. Like, something very simple is very entertaining to people. Like, they want to watch it.
Yeah.
You know? So, first of all, again, I'm going to go back to that question of what has been, let me actually start there first. What has been the biggest lesson or the biggest thing that's influenced you to prepare for the industrial shift as a person in the entertainment industry?
Word, no. I won't lie and say it's a deliberate paying attention to trying to figure out what the next wave is, but it really just comes down to a principle that really changed my life and how I see life, and it's helped especially in the game. And the key word is collaboration. With Lockdown Heights, I have to credit Ayanda Makai, Bradley Olivier, and Kirsten Mohammed because it's their idea and they drove it, they formed story. I was just part of the storyliners and sometimes writers as well, you know. But the lesson I learned from them there is, again, be in the space. Why? We use people around us. You know what I mean? We call people here, and we know each other. It's the same circle. We're gonna help each other out in whatever way. And so I saw firsthand the power of collaboration. Ayanda is fantastic at people. You know, he has one of the strongest black books in the game as far as network goes. You know, and so he leveraged that. And so I saw quickly, in real time, practical terms, the power of just being in the space. You're making friends, talking to people, you know? And that was the biggest lesson for me with Lockdown. Technically, I learned my angles, my eye lines, my mad quickly because we have to align. And so you're learning on the technical side now of making those things come together. And then with TOSAC, that's Jules and Tabo's baby over at Discover TV. But, you know, what's cool in that space is that they let you play. You know, Jules is the type of person who's just, what idea do you have? I have the resources. Limited as they are, I have the resources. You know, and so you learn the importance of taking chances, of not being afraid to get it wrong, because that's, I think, the other thing that chows us. I'm afraid. What if I'm wrong? You're wrong, and then we move on. You're gonna be right. You know, and so
Fail forward.
Yes, that's, you know what I mean. And so with that, it's gonna seem like it's two different ideas, but I'll bring them together. Another quote I heard or read, I don't remember, a long time ago. I think it was Tyler Perry a while back. He said, "We are all competing to get a seat at the table. I'm going to build my own table." Do you understand? Angela Simmons, I saw a post recently where she said, I bring the table to the table. And I'm like, it's just about doing your stuff. Let the rest of the world catch up. In whatever little space you have. And we always try to, overcomplicate. Yeah, but I don't have this, I don't have that. No. Look at the most popular TikTokers. Look at, they're using stuff that's every day. You said it, simplicity is key. Simplicity is key, not because we like the thinking or the creativity to make it better. No, it's just because that's what relates to a lot of us. We don't live the sort of lives where we're flying every Tuesday to Maui and wherever, Barbados, and live. No. And so if I see something that speaks to me, it has my attention immediately. And that's the power then so that's how I interpret the simplicity is key thing anyway. It's just relatable to a lot of us because we're not living crazy, ridiculous lives. We're just trying day to day to move on. And so putting those three things together, power of collaboration, understanding your network, and then learning the technical side on the job as we go along. And again, I have to say I was blessed with being around people who have some resources to aid with TOSAC. The power of being okay with getting it wrong and trying again and learning new things and seeing what works and what doesn't. Those things, along with doing you, will guarantee that whatever wave comes, you're set. If there's a 5th, 6th, 7th, whatever is here in my hands right now, that's what I'm going to use. And a lot of people caught onto YouTube long ago. So a lot of people saw this coming and they were like, yo, and I wish I was those people.
I wish I was those people, man.
But for me, bro, it's pure coincidence or whatever, bro. It's just, this is where I can create in peace. And so that's what I'm going to do. If it works, I'll be as surprised as everybody else. You, the audience, oh my God, oh, okay, I'm shocked too. Hey, high five. Do you know what I mean? I'd be lying if I said it's a deliberate looking of what's going on in the industry per se. But what I do look at, and I'd encourage everybody to do that, pay attention to what's going on in the world. Learn, pick up books, read history, understand what's happening in the world that you live in. Do you understand why that's important? Right now, and it's been brewing for a while, the Western hegemony over Earth is slowly eroding for one reason or the other. Which means we are slowly moving into a multipolar world, evidenced by what's happening with Russia and Ukraine and sanctions backfiring on people to show the power is waning. And we're moving to a world where, the Nicaraguan president was telling the US and the West off because he's building relationships with China and Russia, and he got tired of the noise of, no, but these are the bad guys. And he pointed, bro, like, you people have been involved in more wars than them.
Yes.
They're building bridges. Do you get what I mean? I'm not picking a side. I'm just giving an example of this is what happened. Yeah. And so these sorts of things happening show that we're moving towards a multipolar world, which means a lot of us actors who are gunning for Hollywood might not be Hollywood in 20 years.
Hollywood might be coming to South Africa.
Hollywood might be in South Africa, might be in Nigeria, might be in Kenya, might be in... Do you get what I mean? And so it's forcing us now in the times we live in to remember why you're doing this. If you were doing this because you want to be rich and act in the Avengers and whatever, chances are, given the amount of time it takes to build a name for yourself and a career, may or may not exist. And so act for you, where you are, and let whatever's supposed to find you. Yeah. That for me also helps with life outside of the game, bro. You understand why petrol 96 rand. We can take it for granted, but those things do play a part into your career.
They do. My man, you gotta bro, you coming to an interview. For example, this podcast, it's not funded, but it's something that needs to be done in order to get funding.
Yes, there we go.
You know?
Yeah.
So those sacrifices that you speak of, it's also about that thing you were like, you know, there's a line that popped into my head when you were talking about how everybody's trying to get a seat at the table. I'm gonna create my table. You know, Kanye, how I ain't bring nothing to the table when I'm the table. You know, and all the wisdom you speak of right now, and it's something that you've touched on, Ubuti, you have learned certain things because of creating your own work, which is again creating your own table per se, you know, because now you're creating seats for other people. You know, blessed as you are with all the people that you have surrounding you, you know, it's very interesting that you also say though, because what brought us to this conversation was how you've maneuvered your mind with the shift in the Industrial Revolution. It's very interesting that you say that you didn't necessarily pay attention to it like that, but you paid attention to it in a different way of trying to understand what's going on around you and in the world through the reading, through the watching of the news sometimes, you know. And it's very interesting that you speak of that, because my man, it does play a role. The politics, the state of the economy, everything plays a role in your career. There is a district municipality that I spoke to once about the conversations, about the films, you know, about the film that I'm working on now. It was all good and well in conversation. And when you follow up, you start learning what you know, monies have to be allocated to such and such, such and such.
Next financial year.
Exactly. And in the next financial year, who knows how many wars would have broke out that limits for petrol.
Yes.
Or limits for cement, or limits whatever it is. Now, whatever money that does come in now has to be allocated to that. And you film guys, relax.
Chill.
You know? So it's very interesting you speak of that. Immortal Technique even speaks of it. And the OG, you know, he speaks of it about stop watching the news and read.
That's cool.
You know?
Bro,
I wasn't gifted with reading. I can read a script. Love reading a script. A book, it's hard. But I can listen.
There we go. I'm like that too. When I say read, I don't always mean it must be a hardcover book. Bah. Well, no. Educate yourself. Inform yourself. YouTube is a treasure trove.
Yo, guys,
of wisdom,
that
knowledge.
That maybe I'll open a school and hire YouTube as my lecturers.
Bro, people always asking questions about like, oh, how do I get in the game? What is? Nigga, sit with YouTube.
Go on to YouTube, man.
There's mad channels like Studio Binder who will explain top to bottom what happens in the scene, the angles, the performance, all of the stuff. And there's an infinity of those things over there.
So
there's an infinite amount. And so just YouTube.
On YouTube, as I learned this one thing of when you're lighting and you want to make your shot cinematic, put the camera on the opposite side where the light is coming from. Me, I always knew that the light must be behind camera.
Yeah. You see, things like that. And also like obviously our elders will be mad at me for this too, but Twitter and what I'm not saying believe every Tom, Dick and Jablani who says something there, but from time to time people finna spit facts and people are going to drop things that are going to give you ideas and whatever. I remember I don't know where these kids are from on the continent, bro, but they reenact trailers, Hollywood trailers. I don't know if you've seen those kids, bro. Like frame for frame. They are in huts. They are in without the funny clothes. They use toy guns made of wood and whatever. But I'm telling you now, those children, when they get to adult age, there's not a thing you can tell them about filmmaking.
At all, bro.
There's not a I'm talking, these people must be like 10, 9, and they kill it. You watch the where I saw this the first time, it was on Twitter, and they had a split screen with the original trailer at the top and the bottom, for you to see just how much work these kids are putting in and how accurate and clean they are. And so we have to teach ourselves these things, bro. You have to educate yourself, both for the world and that comes from different sources. I love conspiracy theories. I live in that world. As soon as I see, hey, Illuminati, let's see. I might not necessarily agree with what you're saying, but there's a lot of truth about another situation that comes to light. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
You start to understand different things, how people think, what informs this one to do that. This country behaves like. Do you get what I mean? Silly thing like in college in Tisha, I was big on symbolism and signs, and so you learn all of these things. Oh, that's the Freemason symbol, that's the elk symbol, that's the who are these guys? Bilderberg symbol, that's the, you know what I mean? You learn, you're like, oh. Then I bumped into one of them in real life on a car. Bam. And I'm like,
whoa. Is this real?
What's broad daylight? Like
what's happening?
Do you get what I mean?
Now? Yeah.
Like, oh, in broad daylight. It's not a secret. And then I saw the lodge, Freemasonry Lodge, in Niagara, Canada. And I'm like, oh. I thought people were just talking out their ass, but this is real life. Like
it happens.
You are real.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you start to understand the person coming out from the car, what informs. Do you get what I mean? And so try and source from many different materials. One of my favorite things to do is sit with old people.
Yep.
Yeah, hey, they didn't go to school. You were missing out.
You're missing out.
People are treasure troves of wisdom
Yeah.
and knowledge,
Yeah.
and so you always listen. Yeah, and the time I speak there at the bars or no. Hey, when I say numbers, okay.
What's going on?
Because it affected me.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
and so that's what I mean when I say read. Inform yourself holistically. Talk to people. Because the other thing that chows us, particularly artists, we love exclusivity. We love being seen as these super cool or different, and that's cool. Do you, if that's who you. Because I understand also why. It's because for you to be an artist, fundamentally there's generally something wrong with you off the bat. Like from birth.
I don't care what you say. There's something wrong with
You're
you.
messed up
You're
somewhere.
not mentally okay.
Yeah, you're not all the way there. Just generally as artists.
Yeah.
You're not okay off birth. And so I get that, But could you just dim it down for a little bit to learn more? So you can go back to your corner and be super cool with wisdom. Do you get what I mean?
I get you.
And so we don't, you won't find us chilling. I won't talk with a homeless homie. I won't talk, bro, my mother was a nurse who earned very little amount of money and fed 6 people in the house. I earn from time to time more than she did. I can't for the life of me tell you what happens to her.
Yeah.
I can't.
I get you.
Do you get what I mean?
I can attest to that.
How did you that work? I don't remember going to bed hungry. We didn't have money. There've been times in my life we've been abjectly poor. Proper poor. But I never went to bed hungry. How did this lady pull us off? How? Do you get what I mean? And so you learn from all angles, and you tuck your ego to the side, bro, just to learn from people. When people talk, I learn a lot from my kids about life and what, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. You even learn about yourself through them. You're like, oh, I'm like that. That's going to be dangerous for you in the future. You know what I mean? You start So God has put you in a space where every single second gives you an opportunity to learn something, and we don't maximize because it's yes. Are you out of your blood clot?
I want to talk about that. I want to actually get into that about, like getting into allowing yourself to be a student all the time, But before we go there, can I get another one?
Oh, sure.
Please. We're back.
Yeah.
So yeah, bro, I wanted to talk about now, like, before we close off, just about how, you've talked about how you're students of the game, sitting with old people, learning, so that you can learn more about yourself and also learn more about everything around you. We've talked about how you deal with keeping yourself sane, but I want to go into the artist, There's that cool element, there's that element of wanting to stand out, be your own person, which sometimes causes some of us to become ignorant towards sitting with people, learning from different people who sometimes we believe are below us, which is not true, because I feel like as an artist you need to be a complete human being, so that you can create work that, because you are trying to evoke real emotions, then what you felt too, so now, do you think Uguti, that ego or whatever it is that artists, that hinder artists from going into be like, okay, cool, I'm gonna sit down and learn from this person. Do you think, and I'm gonna speak specifically for actors, do you think Uguti is like, that is a flaw that hinders us from growing out of just being actors? Because I found out a hard truth about a set which I thought people were earning a whole lot of money aren't actually even earning that much money. And then, oh my God, I see you on TV every day. And when you go back home, you're on TV every day. And that's why the people that are a bit more learned about the industry, parents who are a bit more learned about the industry, but not all the way learned, will tell you, it's just a passion. They'll call it a passion. The more learned will understand the journey. The mediocre, like middle learned, will say it's not, and then the ones that are not learned about it, they'll see you on TV and then see you. Why actually doesn't make sense, right? Now there's a discipline that you learn. It's okay, collaboration, all of that stuff, riding the wave. How you spoke about it, acting is a career, but you understand, to sustain that career, there's a lot of backup support, and all of that. So, for the actor that doesn't, to put a situation on it, for an actor that doesn't want to sit with someone below them to get wisdom, do you think that is exactly what hinders them from moving beyond Wuti? Jango Musana told 20K for this job, turn to 10 and produce something.
So I think because as much as I only got into the game quite late in my life, I've been acting for a long time. In stages, at schools and whatever. One of the things I picked up, even as a kid, I have this memory, it will not leave my head, and it is something that stuck with me since. I can't for the life of me figure out how you can be an actor and have an ego. Those two things in my head are mutually exclusive. I say this because when I was a kid, and it's been the theme throughout, directors will shit on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yep. No matter how old you are,
You
if
can
you're
be-
acting and I'm directing you, I don't care who
You
you are.
get a fresh bag of crap every morning on set, and it's not personal.
It's not.
Siyasebenza.
And if you're not delivering, I'm sorry. You're not
And
delivering.
so, where do you find the gap to nurture an ego? When every single day of your life, if you're a working actor, you get fed. Yeah, no, the other departments, they might put gowns on you. Yeah, no, superstar or whatever. But the people who know. Do you get what I mean? I'll remove you. I'll replace you now. Yeah, acting. Yeah, no, yeah. Numbers, I'm bringing 66. Those people who know. That's how we've seen some very incredible actors and powerful names vanish. Where did this person go? How? They brought in 16 million followers from Instagram and they get removed. Why? It's because people in the game know. They know that if you're an actor, it doesn't mean you bleed blue or no. You're flesh and blood like everybody else. You cry, you have bad days. Sometimes we are figure, Tina Swazun nama makeup umuhle lapha ku Insta or whatever, but mawufika ekseni where? Kanti nje mawuvula. Do you get what I mean? And so I've never understood how you can have an ego and be an actor. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, sure, you can step out. Yeah, and there's adulation and adoration and fans and pictures. Yeah, sure, but that's not most of your life. Most of your life on the set is being told to do that again because you didn't give enough. And so it doesn't compute how you can say I'm an actor and I've worked, but you have an ego. You haven't done enough acting, it means. You have not. All of the people I've met in the game are the sweetest human. I can't tell you one actor or actress I bumped into and it was like, I don't have that sort of drama with some. No, it's people who are people because they know.
Yeah, and they need to portray a human being.
Do you get what I mean? And so, for people coming into the game, if your goal for coming into the game is followers and the love and the whatevers, you are going to get disappointed bitterly very early on. Very early on.
Very early.
It directly cut your first scene, usasha my lines mid sentence that cut. Nonsense.
Stop going through the motions and
but still act sharp. Yeah, and so it befuddles me how you can't then sit with people who you perceive to be lower, because that's really all it is. No one's better than the next one. And I say this because if there's a lesson my life has taught me personally, all of my lived experiences, life ivili dog liyajika. Hawuna mali today, unemali kusasa, abazwani nawe today, bazwana nawe kusasa. It's, do you know what I mean? And so I don't approach people at the level of where we are now, because where we are now doesn't matter. It can change like this. You know what I mean? There are actors who we look down on, how about your next audition 2 years later, we will clearly up in the casting director's chair. What now, Holmes? You out of a job, I'm handing out job. What you gonna do? And so you can't approach people with that at all. Generally, it's just bad manners. I personally don't like human beings who don't treat other people as people. And the biggest illustration I can use, I'm Christian, and so I have to speak from the Bible. That's what informs my thinking. The Bible says we are made in God's image, right? What does the word image mean in all of its permutations?
Yeah.
A picture.
Yeah.
Can a picture exist without subject?
Nope.
Can you take a photo of something that's not there?
Yeah. No.
great. So if I'm looking at Stingo right now, it literally means there is a facet of the God that I worship being exhibited through him.
Yeah.
And so you talk to people as if you're talking to a part of God, because you really are, in my view.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so show that respect.
Yeah.
Show that decency.
Yeah.
Show that. Don't look at somebody and think, oh, no. But how many success stories of people who are on the streets and are now, do you want to hear before it settles?
Before it actually clicks.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it doesn't make sense for you to be this aspiring whatever in life and look down on people. It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And this one, I unfortunately have to target my younger Instagram sisters. Please, man. Please. Bazothatha ithombe. Umuntu wazikahle uhlala in a 4-room house. It's okay. You don't have to be kicking out your siblings and trying to buy curtains to, my setting must no, and then I must my bum. Man, there are 7 billion of you on this app.
Yeah. Yeah.
And truth be told, you're not doing it like the very best of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
That's what's going to shine through. And it confuses me, because if we look at the biggest social media stars outside of Mihlali, they're all regular people. Elsa Majimbo, far more successful than say Mihlali, no disrespect, by being her, telling silly jokes. She's not super mega pretty, I'm going to, no, but she's balling out of control from doing her.
Yeah.
Kabi, what's his name? Doesn't say a word.
Yeah, that nigga don't say no word.
He doesn't say a word. He's now worth 4 million euros.
Yeah.
The examples zining, but somehow we want to act. That thing doesn't work.
Just be you.
Do you?
Yeah. Just be you, man.
Because you is going to attract what you need.
Yeah.
Because God put you on earth and all the things that you need to help you, not the character you create for yourself outside you. It's it, bro. One of the things my younger sister said on Instagram, and I was laughing, and a lot of people were like, actually, she was like, bro, I don't understand how you post amapopai wako, your animes, your what, and shadile. Mina, I have to hide all of these things, but abang big. And I'm like, bro, do you?
Do you, man?
It solves so much problems in life. Yeah. You don't have to act with your partner that you marry. You don't have to act with your friends. You don't have to. Nobody expects things they know you won't do or can't do.
Yeah.
And so there's power in just doing you and understanding that everybody around you and the people that you meet are all God's children, made in the image of God, and show them enough respect at a human level at least. If you can't muster enough decency to treat somebody gahle by virtue of what they do or who you think they are, then at the very base level, bro, can you just be decent enough to acknowledge that this is a human being just like me? I can have all the money on earth, but if we both get shot,
if we both die, I get you, man.
I might be happy because I'm finna die in a private hospital.
Yeah.
But Sohlangana on the other side that day.
So abili.
And again, lapho ke imali yakho,
it means nothing.
And that's also key for acting. All the actors we look at and are successful people got there by being them. I can't think of a single one who has to put on a persona, and I say this because if you see backstage footage of these people, if you see interviews, if you see, the personality is consistent. What people say about this person, consistent. And so that's enough clue for me to be like, oh, these people are really just doing them as best as they can. They sharpen their craft to death, but the secret is, bro, like.
So even in the trying to rise to the next level, just be you at all times.
It's key. It'll save you a lot of stress and depression and what. Just do you.
Damn.
Bro, pick what do you the way God made you to be.
Yeah.
You, your parents, some of your friends know. Because that's the other thing now. Sorry to take up time.
Nah,
We disrespect our my parents. I saw something on Twitter. Oh, our parents don't know us. And they were like,
what do you mean, bro? I feel like those are the people that actually know you, bro.
what? Oh my God. When that young lady killed herself, I don't know. I'm using inverted quote. I don't know. Nelly C. Red Timber or whatever, when she jumped over. Oh my God. It was a thing. Oh, but our parents don't know us. Why? Because the dad came out and said, I know my kid. My kid won't commit suicide. Right to this day, they are still looking into the actual cause of what happened that day. But people were giving a dad crap for saying, this is my kid, bro. Like, I raised this person. It's not like we bumped into each other, Segana 29 and it's Segana 30. We just have a year of no. I was there.
Something changed.
Something happened.
Yeah, something happened. And that's what it comes from. It comes from, like, I've started noticing more, when someone says, I know you, they don't mean, they know your situation. It's just that they know you, man, like you. So whatever happened that caused you not to be you in order to do something like that.
Yeah.
And it might be a part of you that they didn't know existed.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't mean that they didn't know you.
You know what I mean? I think for me, bro, like, my parents were very pragmatic human beings. My stepdad, the man who raised me, left this world still not understanding this acting thing. How you people can say, I can live my life with this. This dude is a former soldier, turned spy, he's a military mind. My mom lived in a time where the only options for jobs available at a high level were nurse, doctor, teacher, policeman. I can't for the life of me expect. Yeah, when I was a kid, it was war. Why won't you take me to acting school? Why won't you? But now I'm older, I get it, bro. How are they going to understand?
They don't understand it because of their background.
Do you see what I mean? But at the same time, because I'm doing me, over time, my mom softened her stance because she saw, oh, this is really him. This is what he does. Yeah. And then they start supporting bit by bit. It's not going to be an overnight thing. No, they start seeing bit by bit. Oh, why? And that just comes with the consistency of doing you. If you're an actor, if that's what you call, it's gonna show to them first, or not first, but eventually, it'll show. Oh, okay, cool. I was fighting this thing for the longest time, but this wasn't a stage.
This was him.
This is who this person is. Do you get? And there's so much power, bro. There's so many different things we can mention about just doing you and allowing the world to choose. You know? But yeah.
Man, that's hard, bro. That's hard. If we continue talking, we'll talk forever.
Yeah, we'll talk forever.
We'll talk forever.
Yeah.
Mr. Letuka, thank you so much for allowing us into your space, sharing everything that you've shared with us. You know, I think one of the biggest things that we take out from this interview is just be you. You know, and this is Conversations with Us, which is an extension of the Mental Health Awareness Conversations Workshop. You know, we've spoken about mental health, but I think also just the whole be you thing, and the be you conversation is so powerful in the fact that it even psychologically conditions you to be able to take on whatever it is that comes your way. You know, because at the end of the day, you are yourself. Nobody's telling you what to do or who to be, you know, because at the end of the day, you are in a constant state of becoming your greater self. You know, and I really appreciate that, man. I appreciate this moment. Appreciate everything you've shared with us, bro. and you know, I know the people that also appreciate it. They'll be listening, you know, and
glory to God, man.
and yeah, man, glory to God, to the Almighty, man, and I
Also,
really appreciate this, bro.
No, thank you for having me on the space, bro. It's not something I take for granted. Again, I regard you very highly, and so I know things like this will have huge value
King,
in future
King,
for me, because I'll be like, yeah, cool man, arts.
King,
Yeah, nah, I don't believe nah.
Nah.
Do you get what I mean?
King,
And that's what it is.
straight up,
Word.
bro. Appreciation to do that.
No,
Thank you
bless
so
up,
much.
bless up, King.
Thank you so much.
Bless up, and thank you. Thank you.
And that is the 4th episode of Conversations with Us. Carry on listening, carry on following. Till next time, that was Letuka Dlamini. I am Stingo Ngobesa, your favorite actor's favorite actor. Peace!